Now we're alive. There we go.
Let's go.
Right. I'm like, wait, my
Nice.
mic's not working now. Oh, that's right. I hit mute before. So, David, so we're back for RGC episode number 2. We're going to talk about the video games that we love to hate. So, this should be a pretty fun one. We talked about it earlier. I think we're going to have some folks that are agreeing and some folks that are probably pissed off at us. What do you think?
I am completely okay with people unsubbing, but if you unsub, like don't unsub to Eric's channel. Like unsub to the lame dad. These are
Hey,
totally
you could do both. Unsub to both of us. It's totally fine. We're in this together, man. So it's totally
so,
fine.
so let me say that um and Eric and I kind of talked about this for just a second. So just spoilers, I guess, here. Eric and I don't know what each other are talking about. We don't know what each other's games we're showing off. We don't know any of that.
Right.
But just because this is a game that I hate or that he hates, it doesn't make that necessarily a bad game. It's just something that, doesn't resonate with us. So if it is your favorite game,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's funny. So Bill's here already, and we talked about it earlier. He knows a couple of games that I'm going to pick, and he's going to bust my chops in the chat when I talk about it. But a lot of it too is when I told you about this a couple weeks ago. It's that some of the games to talk about, I love them, but I hate them. Like I love them, but because they made my childhood better or worse in certain cases. Like as far as like enjoying games, but there are some games in here that are terrible, but I love them. Love to hate them, love whatever. So it should be a fun time, and I think. Yeah, we're excited to be back. We got some new sounds I'll be dropping throughout the live stream, and hopefully get some folks coming in. We do have the Rumble going on right now, which is normally on Sunday, but it's on Saturday for the first time. And I bet you Bill could probably tell us when was the last time the Rumble was on a Saturday. I bet you Bill can drop. I think it's like 92 or 93, but I bet you he knows that. So,
I,
David,
I
yeah,
just gotta say, like, it's really unfortunate for the WWE having the Royal Rumble tonight.
it's fortunate,
It's unfortunate because
unfortunate.
RGC's on. Of course, everybody's gonna be watching us.
So much more important. I mean,
It's
I mean, I
there.
that's what I'm doing. I'm watching it
There,
tomorrow night. So Bill
there
and some
goes their
friends.
ratings.
Yeah, some friends are coming over tomorrow night, so I'm watching it live tomorrow. So no spoilers from anybody if they're dropping in throughout the day. But
Vince will happily sponsor the WWE. Just contact us.
yeah, right.
We'll cut you a
RGC,
promo.
yeah, Game Mode Retro and the Lame Dad. We could definitely use some sponsors. Hey, if it's the WWE, it's the WWE. I'm down with that. So awesome. All right, so Bill said, "I'm not sure about." Yeah, I bet you there. Yeah, I'm sure there was a Saturday. But anyway, David, why don't do us the honors and kick us off? And again, if you're in the chat, please join the discussion and let us know what you think and any games that you want to talk about. Drop in the chat. We'll talk about those too. But David, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah. So as I said, these are games that I hate. But as Eric said, I may really love them, but I hate them so good. And so just starting off the list is a game that I've been playing a lot with some good friends, um, and it is this guy here, Back for Blood. And I play with some guys that I mean we've beaten Ninja Gaiden, Demon Souls, Dark Souls, different games like that, and this game just kicks our ass. I mean, nonstop. We're not playing on nightmare or vet. We're playing on the easiest difficulty possible, and it's like no matter what we can do, we can't make it out of the first chapter, first act of the game. And last Saturday, we spent 3 hours playing this game and beat one level. And like, either we just really, really suck,
Mm-hmm.
which is a pretty good possibility, you know, or this game sucks.
Maybe
But
the game sucks.
um, Marcello hooked me up, man. He sent me this really nice
Ooh, the
Back
Steelbook.
for Blood steelbook. Yeah,
Yep.
it's got the nice little scary lady who you want to take home to meet Mama. Uh, you know, um, but like we play this game and it's fun hanging out with each other playing the game, and we have such a great time playing it. But I think we all came to the conclusion after last Saturday, that final loss again, just trying to beat this damn level, that we were just done with it. Um, and so I think that in true
Oh
lame
no!
dad
Are you
fashion.
gonna put this in the saw right now?
Oh man, the kids are asleep. But
Oh jeez! Live on the air. Don't hurt yourself. It's gonna. I gotta put some tunes right here.
well, I think it's not gonna
Well,
work.
well, hey, I think that looks pretty darn good. I'm putting a siren on for that one. Wow.
There you go, back to blood.
Holy crap. Hey, you saw it live here. Our first ever live on air. That's the first time ever live on air, right? For you?
That's first time live, yes.
Wow.
First time.
Look at that.
But
Cheery.
it's an awesome steelbook. I'm not touching the steelbook. Thanks, Marcello.
Dude, I'm going to go out right now and say that I will not be hurting any games throughout this broadcast. That's the only one that, well, maybe there'll be more, but dude, that's intense. Okay, so for Back for Blood, though, I have no experience. When did that first release? Is that like a newer or older, or I forget?
So I think I want to say it came out around October, maybe November, but it's from the same developers that made Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. So they already had a very solid platform, with this game, and they just, I don't want to say they butchered it, but I mean, Left 4 Dead was so much fun, and then Back for Blood, they bring in this card system, which is just it's asinine, it's stupid,
Right. Yeah.
and it just ruins the game.
We got Super Jim Tendo in the chat. It's late for him there. I think it's 1 a.m.
It's
So
very late.
we appreciate
Jim,
that.
you are a legend, brother. Thank you. You are a legend, my friend.
Yeah, thanks so much for stopping by. Dude, I had no idea. So just so everybody knows, I had no idea that David was going to do that live. So that was awesome. So since you started out, yeah, go ahead.
The kids are upstairs and trying to put the baby down. So
Yep. No, I love it. That's awesome. So since you started out with PS4, I guess I'll start there too, and I'll work my way back. And so I'm going to talk about a game that was once an iconic release on the PlayStation 2. There was, I think, 2 of them. Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2. Those are some of my, like, for the PS2, those are 2 of my favorite games of all time. I think I played those with Bill back in the day as well, and I just love those games. So when I heard that they were going to be doing a release of Battlefront on the PS4 in, like, all the generations a couple years ago, I was pretty pumped up for it. Battlefront 1, which is what I have here, not that bad. Good game overall, pretty solid. A little bit rushed in certain areas of gameplay, I felt, but overall developed pretty well. Battlefront 2, I only have a digital release, so I don't have that here. But I hate that game. I hate it because I wanted it to be as good as Battlefront 2 on the PS2, and it just was garbage trash. Just terrible, yeah.
I don't have it physically either, and I guess you can say I have it digitally, but the damn game's like 130 gigs or something.
It's huge. Yeah, it's insanity.
That's what she said.
Yeah, right. No, it's not in your case, no. But no, it's just terrible. It's just wait,
yeah.
Cheering. It's just terrible because they tried to, I feel like, piggyback on the success of the first 2 on the PS2. And I actually went back and played those last week. Those are so much freaking fun to play. All the original ones on the PS2. So awesome. That's my first one. It's really Battlefront 2, but I had Battlefront 1 in front of me.
So because the first one didn't have a campaign, and that was a really big deal. It was like, oh, this is just online only.
Right. This one, Part 2 has a campaign, I'm pretty sure, if I remember. Yeah, it does.
Okay. Yeah, see, I wanted to play the campaign, but if I've got to take up that much, space on my PlayStation for a game.
Well, even like for example, like what Call of Duty, the new one for PS5 is over 100. It's insane. Like the amount of storage. Obviously, there's more storage space on the PS5. You can put it on the PS4 storage now too if you have a external hard drive. But it takes a long time. I'm tired of I just want to put the cartridge in, put the game in, and play right away. And it just sometimes takes so long to load and stuff now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, so that's my first one. What is your number 2 there? Hopefully this one's not going to get shattered.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. So this is a game that I want to say it came out in 2015 or 2016 as a PlayStation exclusive, and I didn't play it back then because I listened to critics and was stupid because they're all assholes. But my good buddy
I just gave you a hee hee.
My good buddy Heaps put a video out about this a game a couple months ago, and that is the Order 1886.
Yes.
Just a cheap case. I don't even have the real case, right?
Game Exchange.
So,
Yep.
um, and like I want to really love this game. I want to really enjoy playing it because it's so unique,
Mm-hmm.
and the gameplay on this thing is so much fun. But there's so much dialogue and so much
Mm-hmm.
walking. And literally, one level, one chapter is you're walking around, following the storyline build. And the gameplay though is so much fun. Just let me shoot my guns. Just let me shoot these guys. Just let me do my cover-based shooter. This could have been Sony's answer to like Gears of War. Um,
I'm afraid of what's going to happen in the next 30 seconds.
oh, this one's safe.
Okay,
This
good. All
one's
right.
safe.
So funny about that game. So a bunch of us, I think that came out. I forget what year it was, but I was just getting into Destiny on PS4 with my buddies. We're all playing Destiny, like across the country. A bunch of us are all over. We're in a clan. We're having a great time. That came out. We were super excited about it. I went out and got it. I played it. And I just remember, like, overall, like, it was just there was so much dialogue. Like you said, it was so slow. It could have been so much better. It's just somebody got a hold of the writing and just did a terrible job. Like, Destiny, at the same time, too, was also a pretty bad story at times, but that was just not good. Not good.
Yeah, if they would have just tapered off, a lot of the dialogue and just let you play the game, I think it would have been received a lot better.
Yep.
The game, like I said, the gameplay is fun. I hate it. It's such wasted potential, and that really just pisses me off.
No, I totally agree. It's like if you can't have, sometimes there's going to be certain games, but if we can't, it didn't vindicate itself enough to be a great game by just like the gameplay. It needed to have a good story too. So I think that's totally fair. So we definitely hate that one.
Yes,
Yes.
but it survives.
So I like that. That's a good pick. I was not gonna lie though. I was nervous as I'm watching you talk about like, oh geez, what's gonna come next? Like is there gonna be like a hacksaw that comes in the room?
We'll see.
Well, you never know. So all right. So this one's not gonna surprise anybody probably. I'm a little embarrassed to tell people how I really feel about this game, but I do hate the overall. Well, I'll just tell you, Cyberpunk. All right, came out last year, and there was so much hype around this game, and we all knew it was going to be shit at the beginning. We just knew it. Like there was so much hype around it, but we just knew that there was going to be bugs and all this stuff, and I wanted to love it like right away. I actually liked the story. I think it was. I did play through. I don't think I went all the way to the end, but I did play the majority of the story, and it was good. It just there was so much hype around this game that I hate that it just had so many bugs and they released it at the beginning when they should have held it back. And I know now it's all fixed and it's got a really good rap now, but overall there was so much hype. I do have the Steelbook case as well that I got from Best Buy.
Nice.
Pretty
Oh, that's
sweet.
nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. But this, can you think of a game in the last 10 years that had more hype than this game?
No, not quite. I mean, Death Stranding maybe had some. No, not even. Next to like Halo or something, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, Cyberpunk. So, I haven't played Cyberpunk, and I never wanted to play Cyberpunk. And the Cyberpunk was built for years, right? Like, we were all following this build up, and like I really wanted to see it go to shit when it released, just because everybody was so amped up about it. But part of me thought, like, no way is this company gonna mess this up this badly. They're going to fix it before it's released. And surely I thought, no way a company can do this.
Right.
And then for it to come out and just fall on its ass, I lost it.
Yeah.
It was hysterical.
I was, like I said, like I'm like, I was upset that they kind of like they duped me. Like they got me. I got it day one.
Yeah.
But I got duped because like I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. There'll be no bugs. And then like there was some it was unplayable for a while. But anyway, it just I think that game. That's a good point that you mentioned. But I do think that I do like it. I would recommend. I would try it out at some point. You know, get a free copy or something like that. I'm sure you can find it for like $10 from like a GameStop used or something, most likely. But that game was a big flop. So boom.
Yeah, so like I think the PS5 version didn't have any problems, maybe. But I know the 4 did. Like I said, I haven't played it, but that's what I heard that the older versions.
I'm pretty sure too when I got it. I think at that point I already had the PS5, right? So I did get the PS5 version and installed it. I'm pretty sure I did. And yeah, there were not a lot of bugs, but there was enough. And then just the hype online and people pissing all over it. It was awesome. So awesome. All right, so that's number 2 for me. What do you got? Number 3.
Oh,
by the way, I can tell you real quick. So my daughter, she's gonna be 6. She's 5 now, obviously, and she's just so funny. She's so caring and loving and everything. So I'm like, I refer to you as the lame dad. So I'm like telling my wife before, I'm like, I'm gonna go stream with the lame dad, and she looks at me and she's like, that's not very nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm like, no, that's like he goes by the lame dad. Well, that's not very nice. It's awesome. Good stuff.
Oh man, my kids are the exact opposite. They're like, Dad, you're lame.
Yeah,
like,
but one of your trailer intros that you have when your daughter, like, you are lame. I love that one.
Yeah, they eat it up. That's awesome, man. I'm glad she's sticking up for the lame.
She's sticking up for Uncle David. Yeah,
that's right. Oh man, so on to what is this, number 3 on my list now? So we both picked 10 games.
Yes.
And as we talked about when we started, we don't know what each other picked, so we don't know where we're going with this. But this game is for sure to get me some lost subscribers. And I've got the nice steel book of it, and everybody tells me to play this game. And I'm not a huge anime fan. I like Dragon Ball Z and Z specifically.
Yep.
I don't care for any of the other versions. But everybody tells me play this game. You love JRPGs. Check this game out. I've tried, and I'm gonna say it that and Stu, if you watch this, G to the P. I'm sorry, guy, but I hate Persona. I hate Persona 5, and I've got like the nice steel book, and it's just such a nice game. I mean, I hate it.
So the one thing I'll say is I know I've heard of Persona 5, obviously, but I don't know the background. Again, a lot of the stuff that I do dabble, just like you, we do a lot of retro stuff, so I don't know this one as much. So when did Persona 5, has it been out for a long time?
So I'm honestly not really sure. I'm with you. I don't know a lot about it either. I know like Hallowed Be Thy Game is a big fan of Atlas and the company that puts out Persona, and I believe Persona was on the PS3, and then the Royal Edition or Royal Edition, whatever here.
It looks great.
The remaster. Yeah, it looks great. It'd be a damn shame if I ran it through us all.
One of these days, you're gonna get someone that's like gonna flip out on you on like the surprise on the comments. Yeah, people aren't like, how can you crucify games like that?
Crazy thing enough, man. Like when I drilled through Scars for the Scars review, I was watching that game Scars for the N64. I was watching it for a few weeks just go up in price, and I think by the time it was done, like that was a $65 game.
I texted you. I texted you. I'm like, dude, like you just put a $65 game through the saw. He's like, I don't like, but again, that's what it's like. I'm doing it for the love of the love of it. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so Persona 5 is one that a lot of people just really say is like one of the greatest PlayStation 4 games on the console, and it's one that it is a turn-based JRPG, which I do like the old school turn-based RPGs. I really do, and I miss that, and that's what everybody says. Hey, check this out, and it is turn-based. It is a very, very slow burn, but the gameplay itself, while it is just turn-based, there's a lot going on the screen, and it just makes it makes it hard for my old eyes to see and keep up with. And everybody loves it, and I hate it.
Well, again, that's why I feel like that's why there's a whole bunch of different games for different people, because people like different stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of mainstream games that I don't think there's some probably here that I'll still talk about, but there are a lot of mainstream games over the past few years that I just couldn't really care less about. But it just again, it's different tastes for different people, different music, different things like So I think it's fair. But I'm gonna actually do some more research on Persona 5, and that looks like a nice case, but yeah, artwork looks
Yeah,
nice.
it's and so like the graphics the in-game graphics are excellent. I mean, it looks legitimately like an anime. It plays like an anime. But again, it's a big open world game as well, which I'm not a big fan of. I don't have a ton of time. I need
Yeah.
something a little more linear. Um, but yeah, I guess if you like anime and stuff like that, this may be up your alley.
Yeah, one of our viewers right now is saying
Blaze Blue Cross
Blaze.
Tag Battle.
Yeah, I never heard of that one. And then I guess he said there's Persona 4 characters in it. So
Yeah, I don't know much about it other
yeah.
than
Wait here. You don't like it. I love it. All right, so I'm gonna go now, and I think Bill's still with us, so he'll agree with me on this one, I think. But I'm gonna go over to the Nintendo 64, so we're gonna go retro here, and this is a game that, looking back on it, like again, I love this game. Like I love it because it's all what we had. So like, it was the first game for the 64 that really took wrestling, I feel like, to the next level, which is WWF War Zone. Okay, so this game is atrocious if you have played like No Mercy and the games that follow it after the release of this game. But for the time, I rented it, and I remember like learning on the controls. There's tutorials for the controls because the controls are so detailed and hard to understand. And for the time, like I loved it. And now looking back on it, this game's a piece of shit. But like it was a lot of fun because that's all we had. But like comparing it to like No Mercy or something like that, like this game is trash. But for what it was at the time, like this was a phenomenal game. The sound effects, like McMahon's on here on the soundtrack with his great sound effects and different vocals and stuff, and like Stone Cold and a lot of wrestlers for the time. This was like the first real wrestling game that that hit mainstream on the 64.
So, did you play the PlayStation version?
Yes, wasn't it? There's something about it that I know I played it for the 64. Wasn't there something about that one specifically that's
Well,
different?
I want to say that the PS1 had, like, I think it had the Raw intro in the game.
Okay. Oh yeah, like the video at the beginning when you started. Yeah.
The, um, and I always thought that was a nice touch. But what was crazy is, yeah, that game is total crap, especially coming from like, THQs and Aki's Revenge and stuff. The game's awful, but it was an event. It was something that was so exciting. Um, but I remember, as excited as I was about that one, I was so much more amped up about Attitude when Attitude was released.
And that was garbage too.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, but Bill loves Attitude. No, I don't know anyone that loves the game. But no, you're right. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like this was like the first like toe in the water like for a great wrestling game. And I have another one on here too that we'll talk about in a second as we get down here. But I feel like WWE 2K21 that game was just like the worst wrestling game of all time. I have that actually on on the cover that we had for this thumbnail. It's not on my list, but it's one of like the worst games like of all time. So,
What's always blown me away is um, why can't 2K make a wrestling game with the THQ controls? Why does it got to be so damn complicated? I mean, that's what makes the gameplay. I want to play a game that's easy to pick up. It's a wrestling game. It shouldn't be Mortal Kombat.
right. No, you're right. Yeah, and SmackDown games for the PS1 and PS2 were where it's 100%. On the PS2, we got like SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. We got the SmackDown vs. Raw, the Raw games, Raw vs. SmackDown, I should say. Those are some great games on the PS1 and the PS2. Those are some great additions to the franchise. But this one, not one of them.
Oh man, if I would have thought about it at the time, I could have grabbed my copy to show you. I have that copyright, but the N64 cart that I have of that game is just complete shit. I mean, it just looks like it was completely ran over. And then you pop it in, and it's like, oh, this really is as ugly as it is on the outside.
But K2J Extreme coming in with the SmackDown versus Raw, the wrestling games on PS2. So that's a great shout out there. But yeah, David, what's up for your number 4?
So number 4 I have
Is
here,
that 4?
and
Yeah,
our good buddy Mr. Tiger Chainsaw is saying that the chat isn't working, but I think it is.
I see it. Yes,
And
I just saw Bill come through.
I know that TC wants to put his valuable input in because it's TC, and I have to know what TC thinks. Heart, TC.
Let me close out my stream and open back up in here just to see what happens. But yeah, so yeah, other people are coming through. That's weird. Okay, so what is your?
Okay, so my next game after, just to recap here, after Back for Blood, The Order 86, Persona 5, my next game up is one that I don't own physically because I don't love it enough to own it, but I do have it digitally a couple times, and that is Super Metroid.
Super Metroid. Okay, so like on the SNES, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we talked about this before, and you had a video on it a few months ago. It's a really hard game. I mean, all the Metroids are, but what's the reason why you would say you love to hate it?
So, and I even reviewed this on my channel a few months back. There's a shameless channel plug, and I even gave it a great score, and it is a great game. Um, I hate it. I didn't grow up playing it, not because I wasn't around or anything like that, but because I didn't have a Super Nintendo until I was in my late 20s. Um, and so by the time that I finally picked it up, all the nostalgia, the great things that Super Metroid did was left in the dust so long ago that, and it blows me away that when I get up here and I say something bad about Super Metroid, like people want to kick my ass. And like it's a good game.
Yep.
It was great for the times. I just find it. I hate having to go back and forth, back and forth.
But that's exactly what this podcast is like to talk about this kind of stuff because I may love a game that you hate and you may hate a game that I love, and it's just like about what you grew up with. And you're right, like I didn't get an SNES, until later on in life, towards college, and a lot of the games that people grew up on, I didn't play until later on, and maybe I didn't like it. But it's again like it's for example, like I don't know, I'm trying to think of a TV show that like Family Matters, right? Like when I was a kid, like TGIF, like that was the stuff to watch. I go back and watch it now. It's still good. Like it's nostalgia though. I'm remembering when I was like younger, but it's not like the greatest show in the world. You know what I mean? Like things like that. It's like, that's how I think things work.
I think for me, it's so overhyped. And it's like, yeah, meh. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? I'm glad you stopped by. Good to see you, man. Yeah, but not a huge fan of Super Metroid. Love Metroid Prime, and I love Metroid Dread. Holy shit! If you haven't played Metroid Dread,
yes.
Another shameless channel plug. I am giving a Metroid Dread code away next Saturday.
That's right. That's right.
If you get subscribe to the channel.
Right. So you got to subscribe. So make sure you subscribe to the Lame Dad's channel. You're right around the 400 mark. You're going to crush that. I'm telling you, in a month, it's going to be a thing of the past. You're going to be zooming.
I don't know. After Persona and Super Metroid, I'm about to lose a few.
No, this is great. This is awesome. No, we really appreciate it. A lot of folks. Looks like the chat's working good now. I mean, a lot of things coming through here. There's TC. Hopped on my laptop, was trying to comment for at least 15 minutes. But hey, TC, we're happy that you're here, man. We're happy that you got into the chat and you're gonna make us laugh as we go through, I'm sure.
TC, you will have to go back if you didn't watch. You'll have to go back and watch the first couple of minutes.
Yes, some good stuff there. And TC, if you have not yet, since like 2 weeks ago, you better have watched Pulp Fiction. Better watch or go watch it tomorrow. Or do something, yeah. But all right, so I'm going now to. All right, so I just did a wrestling game. I have another wrestling game, but I'll skip over for a second, and I'm going to go over to the Sega Genesis, and this is a game. This is actually my childhood copy that I have in my hand. I'm going to hold it up in a second, and this is a game that the TV show. I loved this TV show. I got this game thinking that like, okay, it's going to be like the TV show. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on
Oh,
the Sega Genesis. This
yes.
game, I hate this game. I hate it. Like I hate it. Like I remember playing this and it just like broken controls, graphics were.
Yeah.
I don't even think like the game was completed correctly. It just nostalgia for me. Like again, I love to hate it, I guess. But Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for the Genesis, it just was a monstrosity of shit.
You know, like I was so excited when that came out, and um, I didn't have a Genesis. I had a Nintendo, and a kid up the street had rented it from the grocery store, and yeah, we were so disappointed.
Yeah.
So like, just heartbroken.
The one good thing about it that I remember is it's been a while since I fired it up. I think it does have like the actual theme music in it. Maybe like it has like the obviously it's like the 16-bit version, but it's got like the the good song in it. But it's just not a good game. So that's on my was it number 4 for me? Number 4 is that game there.
And like we were talking about this
Go
earlier
Power Rangers
with the Order 1886, right? Like you have like it's the perfect IP to have a beat 'em up.
right.
I mean, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers should be like a badass like Streets
Like
of
a Mortal
Rage.
Kombat, like a Streets of Rage, Street Fighter, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's just there's so much potential there. And have you seen Power Rangers like in the last 5 years?
Yeah, the one that came out a few years ago. I have it on Blu-ray.
The movie? I haven't seen the movie.
Oh, are you talking about the game?
The show.
Oh, no, I haven't seen the show. No.
I think I caught a clip of it, and it's just
This is so bad.
Oh, it's so awful.
I mean, like the acting was always bad, but I do remember. I think I caught like there was like is it the dinosaur one? I saw an episode like very briefly a couple years ago. It was like Power Rangers dinosaur or something. I don't know. The acting was like bad. I mean, I remember when I was a kid it was bad, but like it's just I feel like it's so much worse now.
Well, it was so good. I thought it was so good when I was a kid. Whenever Tommy was the Green Ranger before he became the White Ranger.
Yes.
And I'm trying to introduce that to my girls. And they're like, "Dad, this is terrible." And I'm like beating them, like, "You shut your mouth! Don't you ever say it."
No beating. No, I have behind me here too. I have a couple of like the small figurines, like of the Green Ranger and the Red Ranger, and like I'm telling you, like that was a great.
Yeah.
I think the first season was like a whole the show was a whole bunch of episodes too. They were like so low budget, but it was so good.
Yeah, I think the first 2 seasons were the best, honestly. And then, so after the movie, the Ooze, was it the Ooze movie?
Yeah,
Was when it went downhill.
Yep. No, you're right. Yes. No, that was the good one. The one that had like after that. You're saying.
Yes, after that.
Because the movie was fantastic. I loved that movie. I had that movie on VHS, and I swear to God, I wore that thing out. I wish I still had it. That thing was awesome. I love that movie. Was it Power Rangers, the movie? I think it was just called Power Rangers, the movie, I think.
Yeah, with Ivan Ooze.
Ivan Ooze. There you go. That's who it was. Yep. And there was actually it's actually got a really good soundtrack. There's a Van Halen song in there with Sammy Hagar, and there's a Red Hot Chili Peppers song in there. I'm surprised they got the licensing to it, but those, yeah, I'm so off in the left field here. But all right, Dave, what you got for number 5, bro?
For real quickly, just to keep up with the chat.
Yes.
My good buddy TC makes a comment about Tommy. He did go on to fight in MMA. He was the Green Ranger. He went on to fight in MMA, but he got his ass kicked.
That's right. Isn't his name like Michael Frank or something? Anthony Michael Frank? Isn't it something like that?
Something like that, yeah. But I make that comment to ask TC because if anybody knows it's TC, good God, do you know what happened to the Pink Ranger?
Amy Jo Johnson?
Is that her name?
Yeah, she's in a bunch of Lifetime movies and stuff.
Okay, then it wasn't the Pink. One of them. I don't know if it was the.
She passed away. The one that trainee, the one that was a Yellow Ranger, she had like cancer and passed away a bunch of years ago.
No. Well, I didn't know that, but that's kind of sad.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a downer. Yeah.
No, I thought the Pink Ranger. I think she went on to do Prono.
Oh. Yeah. I think you're right. I think there was the one after the original one you're saying.
I think so. One of them.
Yeah, because I know the other one is on like Lifetime Network. I see her all the time still, like every now and then. Not that I watch Lifetime movies, but
she wrote erotic novels. I don't think she didn't just write.
TC, dude, the latest video that he put up, I think it was the trailer, the maximum power where he's like in the
Oh
urinal
man.
or the bathroom. That was awesome.
So like, and to his point, I've seen how bad his aim is.
Oh
So
jeez, it's
his
like
poor
all.
wife.
Oh man, that's awesome. I'm putting an applause for that one there. All right, so let's see,
Uh,
number five.
all right. Are we on number five? Okay, back to okay, yeah. So one, two, three. Okay, so this is one that again I don't have physically, but I do have several copies digitally, and I've actually got a pretty funny story about this one. But number five for me is going to be Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
What? I love that game.
I
There we
know,
go.
I
There we
know,
go. This is good.
I know.
Bill does too. So Bill's still here. Bill loves that game.
So, like, I didn't get to play Castlevania Symphony of the Night when it was released. I didn't play it honestly until about 8 years ago,
Hmm.
and I love the first the first Castlevania and then Super Castlevania are those are two of my favorite games of all time. Love those games. Um, but again, I wasn't a huge Metroid fan, and so Symphony of the Night has this Metroidvania, and so I just avoided it for a few years. Um, but I finally got into it. I think back around like 2014. My kids were still really little,
Hmm.
and I would get them out of bed in the morning on Saturdays. Um, and they would watch cartoons, and I would play Castlevania Symphony of the Night on the PlayStation Vita. Um, and so I played it, played it, played it. Couldn't beat it, but I was on a plane going to Phoenix one morning, and I'm sitting there playing my Vita, and it was around the time that I made it to death to fight death in Castlevania, and I'm in the plane going, "Don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die," and of course I die, and I throw the Vita on the plane. And luckily, the plane was empty, and I for sure thought like the plane was going down and we were gonna die because
Oh, jeez.
there wasn't that many people on it. You've
Yeah.
been on those flights, and I throw the Vita, and just pure frustration and little 5-year-old rage, um, and the stewardess made sure that she knew that I knew that that wasn't okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you. So number one, that's a great story. So there's a lot of backstory there. I like that. So it shows like the reason why. But we're getting a lot of folks in the chat. So I got to call this out. So according to Tiger Chainsaw, I've never played a Castlevania game before. What? You got to go right now and play Super Castlevania on the SNES, and like that game is like that's a freaking great game. But anyway, no. So I mean, I love the soundtrack. I remember the soundtrack of Symphony of the Night was rocking, like
Oh, it
drums and
is.
guitar, all the great stuff. I
Oh
love
yeah.
that.
It's a fantastic game, and I love the game, but I absolutely hate it. There's parts in that game where you have to do certain button combinations to turn into a bat or fly over something, and honestly, I was just never able good enough
Mm,
to to do that, and I got really pissed
yeah.
and really frustrated that I couldn't beat the game. So it's a great game. Soundtrack's awesome, the graphics awesome, gameplay's awesome. I just really suck at it, and because I suck at it that much. I hate you.
Brosby, rage is healthy masculinity.
Oh yes.
Like we like to rage, like break stuff. No, so again, that's a good. I wouldn't say controversial because again, it's all of our opinions and all that stuff. But that's a good one because I like that. It makes us all fired up for good reasons. So that's awesome. All right, I'm gonna skip around. I'll go to this one next. So the next one is another wrestling game. Now, Bill is going to give me some heat for this one, but I am just not a fan of this game by Acclaim, and it is WWF Raw for the Sega Genesis.
Mm,
I'm not a
nice.
big fan of like the arcade game that came out. It just number one, probably it was because it was so hard. I never could freaking beat my go through the first match. It's very difficult. I am not a big fan of this game, WWF Raw for Sega Genesis, and again, I think it was good, decent graphics. Good, there was a good soundtrack. A lot of really good wrestlers were in this one. We got Bret Hart, we got Bam Bam Bigelow, Diesel, 1, 2, 3 Kid. Lex Luger, Owen Hart, Razor Ramon, Luna's on here, Undertaker, Yokozuna, Shawn Michaels, and Doink. I mean, it's a good lineup. It just, I don't know. I feel like the gameplay, the Acclaim games for me, a lot of them, besides like NBA Jam and stuff like that, I don't know, just missed a lot of those for me.
Hey man, I think Bill's ready to fight, and you said he's coming over tomorrow, so just.
Yeah, he is. He's coming over to watch Rumble tomorrow. He said, "Okay, now we're gonna fight. At least admit that it's better than Raw for the pet." Yes, I will admit that it's better than the actual physical like Raw show over the last 15 years. I'd rather play this every day of my life than watch one episode of Monday Night Raw now.
Yeah, but I feel like it's not just Raw; it's WWE.
It's the entire product. Yeah, if you like wrestling and you're listening to this stream right now, do yourself a favor. Watch AEW on Wednesday Night Dynamite. Watch that. That's wrestling. That is the way. That's bringing you back to like the Attitude Era. That's real wrestling. WWE now is just so far gone.
So Scott, Sega Blocks and I were having this conversation earlier. I haven't checked out AEW yet, but I don't have cable yet, so I'm gonna have to do some stuff to
get it,
work around it.
Yeah,
to watch it. But we were watching SmackDown with the girls, I think, last Friday night. And good God, what a train wreck WWE is putting out now. It is atrocious. It's awful. So
the hard part about it is that, like, the people writing it, I mean, obviously McMahon has the final say for a lot of stuff, but Bruce Pritchard, who I'm a huge fan of, I listen to his podcast every week. He's been to WWE for, like, a whole bunch of years. And he was great. A lot of these guys were great, like, writing for the show, like, 25 years ago. They're trying to do storylines that worked 25 years ago that don't really work now. And it's, like, the same thing over and over again. And Bill and I always joke, but, like, I think the writing team has, like, 25 professional writers. And I'm just thinking to myself, the stuff that I'm seeing, and I know they're trying hard. I don't think they're phoning it in. I just don't think that they're connected with the fans, what they're looking for. But it's just not good. It's just not good.
It's not. And it blows me away because I don't think it's that difficult. Maybe I'm ignorant. Well, that's definitely true. I'm a Southeast Texas redneck, so I'm definitely ignorant. But like the Attitude Era, right? Like, you had a guy who was up there chugging beers. That's what he did.
Stone Cold, baby.
Right. He would get up there and, like, there was fire. They would put the ring on fire. People would go through tables. It was just like badass stuff. And now it just seems like, why can't you just go back to, like, just bring DX back, rebrand, bring DX back, and tell everybody to suck it.
Yeah,
you'd have a better product. I'm serious.
Well, the funny thing though is that a lot of it is what AEW does really well, and you should check it out. But a lot of what they do is they bring a lot of they have some older talent, like as far as that we're used to, like Billy Gunn from New Generation X. There's a lot of people that are in AEW now, but they don't bury the new talent with the old talent. What WWE likes to do is they like to bring back someone and bury somebody else that's been there working on a build or a push, and then they bury them. And the writing for AEW is a lot better. There's a lot of wrestlers that have gone from WWE that are over there now. It's definitely good wrestling. It does remind me of like WCW sometimes, just because it's a little bit more of like a I don't want to say a B show, but it's excellent. I would check it out. If you like wrestling, anybody listening, check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely on my to-do list then for sure, because Sting's over there now, right?
He is. That's the thing too, man. Sting, I think he's 63 years old. He's still,
Jesus, he's 63?
He's up to 62, 63, somewhere in that area. And he's been wrestling for all these years. And, dude, he owns it, man. They have him paired up with this guy, Darby Allin, who is, like, probably, like, in his 20s. He's a little, like, Enigma, like Sting, like, a similar character. But they do a lot of tag matches. And he does stuff that he can do still. He doesn't overdo himself. And he makes it look good, man. He still can do it after all those years.
Wow, that old. Yeah, that's definitely impressive.
What's the chat looking like?
Oh, they're blowing it up. We got some great chats going on tonight.
I love it. We really do appreciate all the support that we're getting tonight. This is awesome. We're having a lot of fun. We do have some wrestling fans in the chat too, which is also a plus. So, David, what do you got out? I think you're at number 6.
Okay, so you just did the Royal Rumble, right?
Yeah, I did the WWF Raw.
Raw, okay.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. All right, so another game that I don't own physically, but I do own it digitally on the PS4, and that is Final Fantasy IX. Yeah, and a lot of people will say that 9 is the one of the best of the series. I can't stand it.
So
I
I,
I
I'm,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got. Okay, this is my Tiger Chainsaw moment. I don't think I've played a Final Fantasy game since the first one on the NES. I've never got into it. I just
Oh wow,
never
okay.
got into
Yeah,
any of the Final Fantasy games. I just
I
never
can,
did.
yeah, 63 is not old, not old at all. I don't know. Final Fantasy for me is something that the older ones I really enjoyed, and then Final Fantasy 9 came out,
I just read
and
what Bill wrote. Sorry. Once he retires, so he's changing his name to Stung.
Sorry.
no,
That's
that's
awesome.
great. Yeah, that's awesome. I can't believe the dude's that old. I say that old, but that's definitely up there to be doing what he's doing.
No, this
But
is
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
not a fan of Final Fantasy 9. I have it downloaded on the PS4 and thought, okay, this is going to be the time I'm going to finally get into it and enjoy it. And it's none of the characters are memorable. The story's lacking. I can't stand it. Not one of my favorites.
Yeah, again, that's one thing that I never got into. I know a lot of folks. What are they on now? Like 11, 17? It's something.
I've stopped keeping up with
15
them.
maybe.
Yeah, I think I think it's 16 that's going to come out next, but I've kept up with them. I mean, I've stopped keeping up with them. Um, once they went away from the turn-based gameplay style, I kind of tuned out.
Yeah, Brosby's saying Final Fantasy 1 is great, 7's awesome, and then was it X3 series?
I mean, I just never really. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing for me. Man, I know like some people would like, oh, Final Fantasy, but like that. What's the other one that Bill and I always make fun of? It's on Nintendo. Fire Emblem. Like
Oh yeah,
a lot of those characters are in like Super Smash, and I'm like, who the hell is? I don't even know who they are, but like, I guess there's a big cult following around that too.
yeah. I've never played the Fire Emblems. I never have. But like Roseby, like the Final Fantasy VII remake that came out. Like I can't stand that one. Um, again they had the chance I think to really make it great, but they changed the battle system up, um, and I really don't care for it. Not
Yeah,
my cup of tea.
yeah, no, I got it. That's a good pick. I think that's a really good one. So I'm gonna skip around a little bit for my next. This is my number 6, I think, right?
Okay, since I've gone kind of JRPG heavy, I'm gonna skip around a little bit to on my next turn. So
So I'm gonna go back to one of the first games I remember playing as a child. And if you're wondering, if you can't really see the background that we're streaming to you, we're streaming to you right now from the garbage heap where we found a whole bunch of the ET cartridges from the Atari. Now, Bill may disagree with me on this one too, but this game was another game where like what are you like? You're ET, right? But you're like a blip on a screen. Obviously, it's Atari 2600, so you really can't make out a lot. Not the greatest graphics, but this game, I freaking hate this game. I have it because I have it on my shelf. Like it's a good display piece, but I don't ever want to play this game again. I hate this game.
I've never had the pleasure. I can imagine it was great though.
Yeah, it's just like you could look it up later. Like it looks like ET's like a little turd. Like it's like a turd on the screen. You're moving around.
ET
Yeah.
is a turd.
He is. I have an ET somewhere too, but no, totally looks like a turd. But ET phone home. If you want to punish yourself and hate your life, play this game tonight. You'll have a good time. I promise.
I'm interested now. TC, have you seen ET?
Bill just said, "Yep, the fight is back on." He's pissed at me now. You know what, Bill? Go. Yeah, I censored myself like that. E.T. was Tiger Chainsaw. E.T. was too far ahead of its time to be appreciated. I love the movie. I love the E.T. I have the movie on DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K. That's how much I love it. But I hate that game.
I haven't seen that movie in probably 25 years.
K2J Extreme. E.T. on Atari is trash. Thank you. See, Bill, we got to fight you now, Bill. Got to collect those phone parts to phone home or call 1-800-BILLS. I love TC's humor. He always goes there.
Oh man, TC, thanks for the number. I'm gonna take a picture of this.
Yeah, right.
Make sure I dial them up when the wifey's asleep.
There you go. The men in the suits scared me. Yes, the men in the suits. I do remember the men in the suits.
I remember ET getting drunk.
In the
I don't know what that's. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like in the movie. Oh yeah, no, 100%. He goes into the kitchen and starts drinking a whole bunch of Coors Lights and stuff, and then that's pretty funny. He falls over and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what that says about my lifestyle now today.
When I was a kid, though, I remember, like I was afraid of that was scary. Like the ET character, I remember, was a little scary, a little standoffish when you were younger, but
little creepy ass finger coming at you. Yeah.
I'll be right here.
Yeah. Ouch.
All right. Oh, that's fucked up. Oh, damn, TC.
What do you say? The men. Why it calls? Oh, the number calls you. That's mean. I'm gonna put a boo for that one. Yes, ET movies, classic stuff. But all right, so my friend, let's see, we're cranking through here. You are over to what, 7?
2, 5, 6. Yes, I am on to 7. Wow, yeah, on to 7.
Yep.
And so one thing that I don't think we talked about it, but to just give a quick little backstory, we didn't talk about how many games we were doing or what games we were doing, but I think it was the day you texted me about this idea about doing this, I had the idea in my head and I was going to ping you and you beat me to it. So really excited that we're getting to do this tonight and put this out there. I think it's really great for the RGC. It's a great topic, but the game that I picked here, I don't have digitally, and I had it physically, and then I sent it out to a buddy of mine last week. That's how much I love.
So much you love it.
Yeah, you're such a great guy. Here's this game that I hate. But I'm a great guy.
You are a great guy.
But it's Castlevania Lords of Shadow for the 360 and the PS3, I guess.
So I actually don't have any history with that game. So is it really like that bad?
It's, to me, when I played it, I was going to review it in October for Halloween as kind of a spooky, different game review, and it totally feels like a complete cheap rip-off of God of War.
Okay.
With just terrible controls. The graphics are on par for what a 360 should be, but the gameplay stinks. Just because, yep. What you got?
Look what TC put in the chat. You see that? So that tells me he still hasn't seen the movie yet, right?
He's not. He doesn't listen.
So TC, it is from a movie that you need to go watch. It's a trilogy. There's 3 movies: Back to the Future 1, Back to the Future 2, and Back to the Future 3. So the quote is from Back to the Future 2. But roads where we're going, we don't need roads. I feel like he probably knows that one. That one he probably knows. He's just maybe busting my chops. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know because I've had the same conversation with him, and I'm like, TC, you're bullshit. He's like, no. I don't know. TC, I'm sure TC is a pretty damn smooth poker player. Just saying.
I bet you he is too.
I bet you he is. Wears sunglasses at night.
I wear my sunglasses at night. I would watch Back to the Future. I mean, Back to the Future 2 is my favorite one of the 3, but you got to start with 1. You got to start with 1 first, but they're all freaking awesome. But
yeah, 2 is the best, I think.
But I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're good, man. This is good conversations, especially when we're busting TC's balls.
I love it. This is good stuff.
But yeah, Castlevania Lords of Shadows, it's actually a pretty lengthy game. It's about 30 hours. And every time I played it to capture footage for the review, I hated what I was doing.
He's killing me. I'm sorry, he's killing me.
Oh, man.
So, okay, let me ask you a question about the game. So, I have a 360 and I also have a PS3. If I was going to play that game to hurt myself so I'd play the game, what should I play it on? The 360 or the PS3? What would you recommend?
I would say join me in my suffering and play on the 360.
Okay. All right, I'll check that
Um,
out.
but just yeah, just not a fun game. Just not fun at all.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go through it and not have fun, and
There you
just
go.
I want to see. I want to put myself through some torture.
What you got, man? What you got?
All right. So this is my 7, right? Okay. Now again, this is like not in any particular order. Like I'm not going like number 1 of all time for me. Like this is all just going down here. But this
Yeah.
one, this one might make a few people upset. I'm not 100% sure, but I have a feeling this might make some people upset. Okay, so I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I love the series. I love like the cartoon when we were kids, all that kind of stuff. And I love the arcade game. I love Turtles in Time. This original Turtles for the NES, I hate this game.
Oh yeah.
I remember like again like playing it when I was a kid. It infuriated me because it's so difficult and it was so goddamn bad. The graphics and everything else, like for the time, like the underwater level, holding your breath, I would die every single time. This thing, I
Oh
had
yeah.
nightmares on this game. This was nothing like I thought it was going to be when it first released, and I still have it complete in box. It's the one when I was a kid, and I freaking hate this game.
Like it's so disappointing because as a kid when that came out, that was like, oh man, I get to play Turtles on the Nintendo, and that's what we got. Like that's crap.
So, did you see?
You probably saw. Remember the Wizard, the game, the movie that came out
Oh
back in
yeah,
the day? Yeah. So I have that on Blu-ray. I love that movie. Like it's so bad. Like Fred Savage and like Christian
Oh
Slater. There's a
yes.
whole bunch of great. So in that movie, the father is playing that game like as their car is getting fixed. He's like they hooked up the Nintendo to like the wherever they are like getting their car fixed. And he's playing Nintendo and he wakes up at 2 o'clock in the morning. And he's playing that game, and that game was so bad, but they were trying so hard. Like that's when they released Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario Brothers 3, and they had the whole like thing, around that towards the end of the movie. And Nintendo, that was like a 2-hour infomercial for Nintendo, basically.
Yeah, they definitely marketed very hard on that movie for Mario 3 and for that game as well. Fred Savage, man.
Yeah, Fred
Good night.
Fred Savage. Yep, Ben Savage was his brother, who was the what's that one there? Boy Meets World.
Yes, that's
Yep.
right. Yeah.
So yeah, so that's for me. That's my number 7. Again, I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I love the arcade game. I love Turtles in Time on the SNES. It's such a great freaking game. This game is the shits.
Well, and it just, as a kid, it just tortured you. Like it was so damn difficult, so hard, and it made me hate playing games for a while.
So Brosby said TMNT is not appreciated.
I don't appreciate it. I'm just saying. Like
Yeah.
but to K2J's point, the arcade is
Oh yeah. So I have a
perfect.
couple of the arcade one-ups, and I have the X-Men arcade because that's like my favorite arcade ever growing up, and I have a Street Fighter cab that I hacked, and it's got a RetroPie, all the games in there, so I can play that on there. They did release a Turtles in Time 4-player arcade. I just don't have the room for it, but that thing is beautiful. So
Yeah, my daughters and I really like playing Turtles in Time, and even the arcade game on the NES we'll play and get down on. Um, and I find like they like playing the Turtle games,
mhm.
and I just don't understand why companies can't make like a Turtles in Time game again. Like again,
Yeah, like especially right now when we're doing all this retro and nostalgia and stuff. A lot of
yeah.
companies doing things like that. But I remember I don't think I ever saw the Michael Bay Turtles. I heard like the movie. I heard it was garbage though. I
I
couldn't do it.
I have both of them, but I haven't watched them yet.
Yeah, I mean, I like A Secret of the Ooze, which is Turtles 2. That's like one of my favorite movies as a kid. I love that movie. The first one, the second, third one, I obviously is not that great. No one likes the third one, but number 2 was awesome. I love those movies.
Oh yes, with Super Shredder at the end. What's so awesome is like my kids now love the first three originals. Yeah, the third one's trash, but they like the originals.
Yeah,
But like I messaged you the other day about Streets of Rage 4
yeah,
and how awesome that game is. It's
love it.
done so well.
Yep.
Like I don't know why we can't get a Turtles game like that.
Yeah, what they did well is there's some new stuff in it. Like Streets of Rage 4, there was some new stuff in it. They put the old soundtrack if you wanted to put that on. They had like a bunch of different Easter eggs in there where you can go to certain levels of like Streets of Rage 2 and 1 and 3, and they put all the characters in it. Like you can be like Axel from Streets of Rage 1, you can be, Dr. Zahn from Streets of Rage 3, all these different Max, everybody's in there. It was so well done. And I do know they're working on Streets of Rage 5 already, and that should be pretty awesome too.
Yeah, I mean it's somebody. I think Marcello was telling me that the same company that published that is working on a Turtles game.
Oh, you know what? I think I did read something about that. That'd be awesome. Yeah. At first when I first saw like some of the videos, I was like, it doesn't look that great, but when you play it, it's awesome.
Got some Turtles fans here too, man. This
is
awesome.
And Bill actually just dropped in there. You're right. Bill just said, I think Streets of Rage 4 is working on TMNT game. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, but I think it's only going to be for the Switch, maybe, which I'm kind of disappointed on because I'm not a huge Switch guy.
It's so funny. Like I was just looking. I kind of reorganized some of my stuff the other day, and I just got in the mail. I ordered actually the Castlevania NES Switch collection that they limited run did a physical release. So I that came the other day. So I put it on my shelf, and I actually have a good amount of Switch stuff. I'm surprised. Like, I was thinking about buying the OLED Switch, even though I don't really need it. But
yeah, my girls mainly play it, and I'm kind of with you. I went and I bought them, I bought them Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 last week. I put it in their collection upstairs, and I was like, yeah, they've got a pretty little nice collection here. I don't play it a lot. I prefer the PS5 or the Xbox or whatever. But anyways, I hope if we do get a new Turtle game on the Switch, I'll buy it or whatever.
Yeah, no, and Brosby said Shredder's Revenge is coming. So I think is that what it is?
Is that what it is, Shredder's Revenge?
I think so. Yeah, .emu. Yeah, he's right. That's the same company that did Streets of Rage. So let's see. That was number 1, 2, 3. That was 7 for me, so you should be at 8.
All right, okay, so here's one that I do have physical. Let's get physical. All right, okay, so I think we may have talked about this game, and I think we talked about it, but I don't know. We'll see. Ghost of Tsushima is a game that I hate, and it really pisses me off that I've played about 10 hours of the PS4 game, and then this came with the PS5, and it's got that really misleading lettering there that says that it's the director's cut.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure it is, but like when I see that, I think of Resident Evil director's cut, which is a fantastic game, and this one is nothing but a fetch quest.
Okay, so grinding. All you're doing is grinding.
So I put about 10 hours into it and made it out of the first act. And it's got graphics are excellent, gameplay's decent, storyline's okay, but you got to build this army to go save your uncle, and of course you save somebody for whatever reason, and you save him so he can help join your army to go fight the cause. And once you do this, the next thing that happens in this game is you have to go save somebody else, and then that person needs a favor, and this person needs a favor, and basically it's like, dude, like I just saved you, but in order for you to help me, I've got to go save 2 more people.
Right.
Like, you're an asshole.
Yeah, and Tiger Chainsaw agrees with you. He says, I don't hate Ghost, but I think it was pretty overrated. I beat it and put a ton of hours into it, but I felt like the fighting just was so repetitive. The scenery and atmosphere was gorgeous, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing. A lot of times it can look great, but if it doesn't have a good story or not enjoyable, no one's going to really want to play it.
I mean, I literally felt like I was just running errands trying to help people. I would complete. So when I play games like this, I have to play them extremely linear just to get through them because I don't have hundreds of hours. And just a linear game like this it's linear, but it's nothing but side quests the whole way through. And I don't have the patience and time for that.
Well, I appreciate you telling me that because now I don't want to buy that for the PS5. I think I had it on my wish list too. I'm going to take it off of there when we get off of this chat.
Yeah, it looks. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's good stuff. I'm going to go now. number 8. So this is a funny one. So this is for NES as well. I have this complete in box. My wife is upstairs. She'll probably hear me. She'll start laughing because this is one of the only games she ever talks about when it comes to like, she doesn't like big video games, but when I talk about it, and she always talks about this game. But Jaws on the NES is probably the biggest piece of game that like ever. Like I just did that. Like literally, like this game is so bad that like you're like it's just terrible. Like you're a little submarine and you're going around and you're killing sharks and stuff. Like it's nothing like the movie. The gameplay is terrible. I remember the sound effects were garbage. LJN did make this, and they made published a bunch of crappy games. But Jaws for the NES was like my bane of my existence when I was a kid. I couldn't beat it. My brother could beat it. I couldn't do it. It pissed me off. I just hate this game. Hate it.
So the only experience I've had with the game, other than watching the nerd play it, was my mom used to clean houses to try to make some extra money on the side, and I got stuck with her cleaning this dude's house, and he had a Nintendo that I played Jaws on, and had a miserable time with.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. That's one bad. Then Brosby said, "No shame, no Switch love." They have done a lot. No, they have done a lot for indie titles. He's right. There's a lot of great indie games. I do love the Switch. I mean, again, it's just having the time to play all this stuff is tough, you know.
Yeah. I absolutely love the Switch. It is probably the best Nintendo console in a long time. My kids play a lot. We've got a lot of the big games for it, obviously.
Sequels for Atari.
It's like our Switch is upstairs, and I don't bring it down. I want to buy another dock to keep it down here in the man cave to play it more. But no, there's definitely a lot of Switch love. But yeah, man, Jaws sucks.
Yeah, no bueno. Not a good game. Don't go out and buy this one. I think it actually sells complete in box for like $80. I might sell this. You know, I'll put it on eBay. All right. So what do you got for, let's see, number 9?
Okay, so I'm gonna mix them up here because the last one I'm gonna do is gonna blow your socks off, and
oh jeez,
you might not want to be my friend anymore.
Am I gonna stop the stream? Am I gonna be like let's see, where's my you can't hear it, but here's my sensor. Go like.
Probably. Oh yeah. So okay, so number 9 for me is going back again to a JRPG, and that is Chrono Cross. And I don't have it in the my collection currently. I keep buying it, and then I keep just giving it away or selling it because I hate the game. Chrono Trigger was such a phenomenal RPG, and you know, Chrono Cross is not a sequel to it in any way. It's not, but it will forever be tied to Chrono Trigger because it's the game that followed Chrono Trigger for that series, and it has a terrible battle system. The turn-based battle system with element damage. It's just, and it's so damn boring.
Yeah.
So boring.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate the game.
I do have some, you know, Chrono Trigger, obviously SNES. I have some history with that one. So Chrono Cross came out on PlayStation, or did it come out?
Yes, it was on PlayStation, and I think 99, maybe
okay.
98.
Yep, just no good. I never played that one. It has it's got a 4.9 rating out of 58 ratings on. I don't know what this is. IGN maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it has a cult following. And I think you can play with like 40 different characters and like mix and match your team.
Yeah.
And supposedly, from what I've been told, it really does get good at some point. I've put hours and hours into it, and at some point you gotta shit or get off the pot, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I hate it. I can't stand
the game. You got off the pot.
I hate that game. Oh my god, I hate that game.
All right, I like it. All right, so that's number 9 for you. I love that. For me, number 9 is another NES game. Now, I might get some heat for this one. I do think that there's a cult following around this for the NES. I think Bill might like this one too, so I'm sorry, man. But I remember playing this as a kid, and I loved the movie. You'll see in a second what it is. And this game made me just hate being a fan of the franchise.
Oh no!
I did not like Batman the video game
man.
for NES.
Oh dude, like man, Batman?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I don't know. I love Batman. I love the like the movie and everything. Like Michael Keaton's my favorite Batman. Was this one's based off of, obviously, but I don't know. I just wasn't a fan. I don't know. There's a Game Gear one that I like the Game Gear version. I think it's I have it somewhere. I forget which one it is. But I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of the one on the NES.
I think it's an okay Batman. I think that it was probably one of the better Batmans until like the Arkham Knight kind of series came around. How do you not like Batman?
I think I got into it too late. I don't know. It never clicked for me, like being one of my favorite NES games.
I don't know. I think it's okay, but I can understand that. You know, I can certainly feel you on that. Have you played Batman Returns on the Genesis?
Yes, I have.
I hate that game.
Yeah, that one. And
Bill and I recently played too. We actually played Batman Beyond, like the video game, and that was pretty bad. In the 64, that was pretty terrible.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, terrible.
It's like there's nothing to it, right?
I'm pissing people off right now. Bill just said that we're done. Let's see. He said unsubscribe. Yeah, Bill, you unsubscribe, you mother.
Oh, if that made you want to unsubscribe, then you don't want to see what number 10 is for me.
Oh boy. All right. Well,
let me see what else. What they say. Yeah, Brosby. How do you not like Batman, huh?
No, it's like I like, and again, like NES. Like I love like Renegade. I love there's a bunch of great games. Like I just love the NES. A lot of great stuff. POW, Prisoner of War. If you haven't played that game for NES, go play that. That's a great freaking game. It's tough, but it's so freaking fun.
Yeah, Bill agreed, man. Like the Batman Returns
on
game
the SNES.
On the SNES is awesome. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. The Genesis version sucks ass.
Sucks
terrible.
I love it. All right, so let's see. All right, so
let's see what time we're at.
Where is it? I don't even know what time it is. 9:15 Eastern time. All right, so we're over. This is great. We're having fun. We're talking. What is number 10 for you, David? What's number 10? Do you want me to do my 10 before you do your 10?
Yeah, that way I can see what your number 10 is, and you don't just kill the chat.
This one I don't think is going to make anybody super angry. I don't think it will. So this is more of the latest release. I think a lot of folks will agree with me. But the definitive edition of Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, and San Andreas recently was released for the PS4, PS5, and Switch just came out too. And so I got it at release date, and there were a bunch of bugs. But I love playing it. I love playing those games. Vice City is one of my favorite GTA games of all time. But the overall release was pretty terrible. They could have done so much better. So I love the original games, but the re-release was just garbage. So GTA, the definitive edition, they dropped the ball. Rockstar releases like one GTA every 10 years, and they can't remaster these like games that have been out for 20 years already and make them look better than they look a little better, but nowhere near where they should have been.
No, so Vice City is my all-time favorite Grand Theft Auto game, and I've heard that definitive edition is crap, so I haven't checked it out.
They fixed a lot of bugs. I'll give them credit. Like, people were pissed off. They came back pretty quickly. They released a bunch of patches, but again, just like with Cyberpunk, it should be ready to go right at release. I understand that things happen and patches and bugs. I understand that, but we're like all these people making these money and making all the money on these games. Like where's like the freaking quality control anymore, bro? I sound like a freaking boomer, but it's true.
No, yeah, it's the thing now. Like back in the 80s, it wasn't. It is now.
Now I'm freaking mad. Damn it. So, yeah, people. Let's see. What is it? Tiger Chainsaw, man. I love it. He's awesome.
He's a great guy.
He's a good dude. No, we appreciate. This has been. I know you're still to go too, but this has been a lot of fun. This hour has been awesome.
David and I are just like super excited to continue to do these podcasts and think of different topics to discuss, and a lot more folks stop by this time around. We really do appreciate it, and a lot of great feedback in the chat. This has been awesome. But David, I'm gonna let you break the internet before we go out. Do you think I'm gonna like get up and like throw something, or?
It's quite possible. So I have
time out. Don't tell me. Is it a new release, older, retro, like?
No, it's definitely retro, and it's definitely right in your wheelhouse.
Okay.
So I've got my screen up now, and I'm waiting for the unsubs. Okay, so it's confession time. It's confession, and I hate this game, and there's some story that goes along with it, but I do hate this game. I know. I know. I know.
Hey, it's your opinion, but I'm fine with it. But I'm like, wow, like I could see the point of view where why you wouldn't like the game, but man, I love that game. I love that game too. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a great game. Wave Race 64 is it's a really good game. It's not that it's a bad game at all. My hate for it does not mean that it's a bad game. The water physics, the controls. Yeah, see, yours is so much cleaner and prettier than mine.
I love this game. I love it.
But like, so growing up, I didn't have a 64 for a while. I had a Nintendo. But the kids in the neighborhood, there was 3 of them, and they all had 64s, and they all had several games, but they all had NFL Blitz, and they all had Wave Race. And so inevitably, we would end up playing Wave Race or Blitz. And since I didn't have a 64 at the time, I was always handed the asshole controller.
Okay.
And if you don't know what the asshole controller is, it's one of those jacked up looking, fourth party controllers that's stupid, and you're using it and playing it. And anytime I play Wave Race, I'm just reminded about those terrible times.
I mean, like, honestly, like, I think like, totally fair. Like, I think you have a bad, experience. It's funny because the game really, if you think about it, like, there's not much to it, but I do love the reason why I like it. I like the sound effects, the maximum power stuff's hilarious, like the announcer. It is kind of like a cheesy game, but it's for me again, it's fun to play. But like you said, if you get the crappy controller, you're like, that kind of thing. I can totally understand, and I have a feeling that I'm seeing some folks that's so funny. So see what Bill just said. You see what Bill's comment there about Blitz is where it's at.
Yep.
I bet you I would not be surprised if he thought that one of my games. I like NFL Blitz. I like the overall, but I'm so bad at it. So whenever I play with Bill and our friend Travis, they always beat me. So I hate it because of that. He's probably surprised that I didn't pick Blitz to say that I hate. But dude, this is Wave Race 64. So when's the last time you went back and played it? Has it been a while?
No, it's actually been very recent. I say recent. Last couple of months. My oldest daughter and I sat down to play it, and I think we raced. We played 2 races, and at the end of one, she was like, "Daddy, I don't want to play this anymore." So she had, and I actually didn't have a terrible time with it, but it's just a game that for so long I've looked at and I kind of just despised, and it's not a bad game.
Yeah,
it's not.
Well, that's the thing. It's like that's where I feel about a lot of these games too. Is that like, I don't know. Okay, like for example, Batman. Maybe it's not a bad game. I just didn't have a great experience with it. I was a younger brother and watched my brother play, and I was terrible at it. Things like that. It kind of just goes into your head, and you're like, okay, But that's why I like what we do on our channels. We go back and play old games. We go back and play games people don't like, and that's why we all have opinions. And that's what's so fun about like what we're doing right now with the community, because we all have different opinions.
I mean, we could realistically sit here and say, okay, and we could say that these top 10 games are the worst games on around, and we all know what that list would kind of look like.
Right.
I mean, there within this community, it's kind of a well-known fact that like because of the nerd, like what is it, Jekyll and Hyde is crap.
Yeah.
You know, LJN games are
Right.
crap.
Because the nerd,
You
right?
know, yeah. So it's easy to say that, but
Did you give her
did-
the bad controller for the authentic experience?
Oh, your daughter?
I did.
Did you? That's awesome.
It was those analog sticks on the 64
Oh,
don't
dude.
hold up.
No, I
And
don't.
She got the one that was broken.
That's awesome. It's funny because I have 4 of them, and I had people over the other day, and I think I actually took the bad one because I know if I gave it to Bill or
Yeah.
they complain and say I was cheating or something. So, but all right, man. All right, that's good. So, I mean, that's our top 10 list. Like I'm sure there's more, and I feel like we could have went another way with it, but I think that this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted people to get mad. I wanted us to get mad. Like I just, I thought you read a couple of good ones in there that I was surprised about, and the same thing with me, and I just think that worked out really well.
Yeah, like K2J's comment here. There are crappy games that, like Fester's Quest for the NES is one that's often viewed as a huge pile of crap, and I love that game. I love playing it.
Yeah, like, that's the thing. It's like there's a lot of other games too. I'm looking up here in the shelf that I was, contemplating. I'm looking through my collection, and I'm thinking about like what I want to talk about. And there are some like really good games that I like that other people don't like. For example, like if you don't like sports, I love NBA Jam. I'm not a huge NBA fan, but growing up I was, and I love NBA Jam. There's so much replay value in that game, but again, a lot of folks don't like sports games.
Yep.
So. That is awesome, dude. This has been a lot of fun. This went by really fast.
Yeah, this was good.
Bram Stoker's Dracula for SNES, Genesis, just to name a few. Bill said same thing. Bram Stoker's Dracula for the Sega CD is somehow even worse. This is great. This is awesome. We're bringing the community together. Some folks all chatting and going back and forth. And David, I'm really happy that that you still agree to record with me every couple weeks.
Oh, absolutely, man. This is a blast. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad that people are enjoying it and commenting and checking it out as well. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, we did get some good participation in the chat and having us talk about different games. We're going all over the place. What's making you laugh now? Don't talk to lame dad. He doesn't even know sports. You know sports.
So I had a
Inside joke.
guy. Well, I had a guy on YouTube, and I've got a picture of it. He made a comment on my Ken Griffey Jr. baseball review that, like, really recently, like last week, out of nowhere, that I didn't know what baseball was, and that I was a gamer reviewing a sports game or something like that. Like, I didn't know baseball. Like, I don't know sports.
I mean, doesn't he like watch any of your videos? Like all your background is like Houston Astros stuff. Like,
Well, and like when I was reviewing Ken Griffey Jr.'s Major League Baseball for the 64, I mean, it's not a terrible game. It's a very shallow game, and anyways,
Yeah,
I
I
expanded
gotcha.
on all that, but yeah, like to TC's point, I don't know anything about sports, especially the Astros. I don't know
Especially-
anything about the
nothing.
Astros.
You don't have any signed balls or any
No.
like we don't have jerseys or things
Nothing,
like that.
nothing about the Blackhawks. Nothing.
Blackhawks.
I don't know sports.
Dude, I love it. That's funny. Every now and then I get a couple of trolls too, and it's just like I just either ignore them or I put something like crazy in there, like to go off like, oh yeah, I agree with you. You're whatever, just to bust your chaps. But dude, this is awesome. Anything that you wanted to add before we start winding down and closing out?
No, man, this has been good. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, K2J, TC. Thank you guys for stopping by. It's always awesome to catch up with you guys.
Everybody.
Yeah,
man,
Roseby, everybody.
Everybody, I know we might miss a few folks here and there, but this has been great. You definitely share with your friends and help us out and get the word of the Retro Gamer Chronicles. I almost got it that time. I almost screwed up. The Retro Gamer Chronicles, get us going. We're going to keep working through to try to do a podcast every 2 weeks. Then we're also working through the Sarah Connor Chronicles files still. So we got a couple cool things coming there. We had the Tarantino movies podcast about 2 weeks ago. Got some great feedback on that one. So we do appreciate everybody stopping by and spending some time with us this week. I love talking about games, and I think what we'll do too, David, I actually got some couple of requests about this on an upcoming RGC podcast. We should play some like live games. We'll do some live gameplay. We'll do something where that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we could definitely get down on that. I know I was talking with a guy earlier about getting another stream going. It's been a while since I've done a stream.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we can definitely do some stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. So cool. Well, we appreciate you guys stopping by and checking us out. This has been Eric for Game Mode Retro.
This is David the Lame Dad.
We will catch you guys on the next episode of RGC. Take it easy, be safe, and TC, go watch Back to the Future.
Go watch it. No excuses.
Right now.
Bye, Felicia.
Later, all.